My face is gone. I can't breathe, man. Please. Please let me stand. Please, man, I can't breathe. My face is gone. I can't breathe, man. Please. Please let me stand. Please, man, I can't breathe.
Welcome back to another episode of 18th Avenue, the podcast channel that explores new culture and old ones alike, and the people who live them daily. I am your host, Rico Bottles. Before we get the show started, I just like to make some quick few announcements because you all haven't heard from me in a while. The first thing on the list here is be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the channel. Hit that notification button so that you can get notification every time a new video is released. Now, there's been some changes, so we now have a Facebook account, so I don't have to continue to post this to my personal Facebook. Now you can follow the Facebook page at 18Av Cast. So you can follow the Facebook page like that, or you can probably find us on our 18th Avenue podcast. Anyway, I will have all that information down below. You can also follow us on IG, which is 18th Avenue Podcast. You can follow us. You can join the group there. There's a small number of us now. You can also follow us on YouTube. You can find us on our 18th Avenue Podcast, or I am Rico B. One of the reasons why it's taken me such a long time to be able to come here and create these podcast content is I have been considering to sort of bring in some other ideas. So I think I decided that once a month, couple times in the year, we will feature a set culture, like something that I know very little about. But at the same time, I'm very interested in that, and I want to find out more about what it's all about. So on this season on 18th Avenue podcast, we are featuring the culture of yoga. We've done an episode about nearly a month now, and so the next episode on that will air on the 10th of June. So June 3rd. Make sure to stay tuned for that, and that episode will be featuring a meditation coach, a multidisciplinary artist Kendra Copeland, which would then air on June 10th, as I said before. So, absolutely a stimulating interview. I really enjoy that woman and, her vice experience of yoga. And also, too, like, I've been doing yoga. It's not something that I announce every day. I've been doing yoga. I'm such a horrible, horrible student because, yeah, but anyway, I've been doing it. I've been doing it as much as I can. Not, should probably do way more. But yeah, I had a class yesterday. I had a class yesterday evening. Just a beautiful instructor. She's absolutely great. Her voice alone will put you to sleep. Just a powerful, powerful human being. So, yeah, that is something that you want to check out too. I believe she has a yoga and it's called Afro Yoga. She was one of the first instructors that I actually had here in our interview. So she's absolutely incredible, very reasonable prices. So you definitely want to check that out. The other things that I have up, and I've been talking about this one for such a long time, is that we will have the website. The website is being made. Okay, this is not just me saying it's happening, and it doesn't happen. Like literally, the website is in progress. There's just like a few details. I'm not, a website builder, so So bear with me, but that will be out hopefully by the end of June or sometime in mid June, sometime before June month is over. We will have that also. Another thing that is coming up, um, since the since the murder of um, Ahmad Abri, since his murder, I was thinking. I talked to a few people that I know, a few close ones, and everybody really, really want to do something. So I do have a project in place that I'm currently writing the script for and working on, and I hope that I can get that done quick enough and fast enough in time so that I'm able to put that, you know, in the rotation. That is all. It's going to be a fantastic project, really. Like it's going to be absolutely crazy and absolutely amazing. And we're definitely going to be needing people to join to help that project come to fruition rather than it just being this sort of a dream. We're going to need a lot of bodies, but we're still sort of like in the idea phase yet, putting ideas on papers and trying to come up with the script and doing different things like that. So once I have that all done, then I will let you guys know what it is I'm looking for. So if you are interested in something like that, stay tuned. We will also have that as well. um yeah, and also the other thing that I want to talk about before I move on and get the show started here is suggestion. Look, um if there is something, you know, there's something that you are interested in here, or a topic that you feel like other channels may be covered, but you just want to hear my perspective, my take on it, please suggest. Make sure to send us an email at 18th Avenue Podcast at gmail.com. That is where you can find me. And again, make sure to stay tuned, stay on top of really, really, really try your best to stay on top of the IG page, which is 18Av Cast. Sorry, the Facebook page, which is 18Av Cast, and IG page is 18th Avenue Podcast. The YouTube page is 18th Avenue Podcast, and I am Rico B. You can also find it there as well. All right. So with that said, let's get into today's subject. A lot is going on. A lot is going on. You guys haven't seen me, and I'm getting to that now. One of the reasons why you haven't seen me is because I started this podcast on a whim, and I wanted to know. It's kind of like gauging it. After a while, it just felt like all the subjects were just being forced and forced and forced, and I didn't like the feeling. So I kind of took a step back there and stopped producing so much. So now I feel like I'm in a better place. I just feel like I need to take it back to the roots. And one of the things that I've been super familiar with, and this happened since coming to this country in North America. I think that it's been the subject of racism. I remembered. I mean, I do have a collections of books here that is all on slavery or watching the roots, and and it just made me very, very curious because back home I never got the exposure, I never got the education, I never got to be educated on what a racism was and what it wasn't. This whole affair of black and white thing, because the way we look at, and that's changing now in Africa. I've been in Africa for a very long time, but it's changing now. But the way we looked at um, white people per se, when I was back there, we put them on such a pedestal. It's like God, they can't do anything wrong, because they do such a good job at like showing us the great part when you watch those old 70s movies or like 80 films, like from the 50s and 60s. Everything is nice and clean, it's proper. You're thinking, oh man, these guys are amazing, they're angels. um Not to say that there aren't angel among them. But yeah, but coming to Canada and having to live in St. John's, Newfoundland, and growing up there, like my school, for instance, we never touch up on racism. Racism was something that we didn't touch up on. I mean, we learned history, but to be honest with you, I don't remember anything from history aside from David Suzuki. That's all I remember from history class. And the other thing that I do remember very, very strongly is the Holocaust. I remember the Holocaust being taught in school because it was part of the curriculum. We watched the videos, we did essays on them. We studied the Holocaust, but there was nothing that covered the life of black people, the history of black people, how we came to this country, how we came to be, what's the life like when it comes to like in this land, what are things like. So all of those things I had to dig up myself and find out what it was all about. And interestingly, though, I will say this is that when I started to, once I could form an English a sentence, a half a broken sentence of English, once I could form that, I started to notice a lot of differences, a lot of cultural difference, a lot of
hey, please, please understand. Please,
a lot of little racism here, and that just became a part of me. And I remembered I would be so angry when I was younger, just so angry at all of it, like why was happening. And then of course I would talk to friends about it, but I can't blame them, number one, all right, because I can't blame my friends for not understanding where I was coming from, because number one, it wasn't taught in school. And a lot of people, what we know today about everything we learn in school, what we know about math we learn in school, what we know about how to work with people, how to manage people, we learn all of those things in school. So if like a school isn't really teaching that subject matters, or it's not even trying to touch up on it, then it's very hard for individuals that don't come from that background to understand what it's like being in the shoes of others. So honestly, I don't blame my friends at the time. But time had gone past.
hey, please, please understand. Please,
So let's get the show started. You guys are on top of what's going on now. You are on top of everything that is going on in the news pertaining to from the murder of Ahmed Abri, which happened on the 23rd of February, which for some reason the white supremacists hate that information until it came out recently and they finally made an arrest. You're familiar with that, right? So I don't need to go too much into it. The most recent death of another innocent black man, which happened on the 26th, it happened on Monday, this gone Monday, of an innocent black man. You are familiar with that. In case you forgotten whatever, you got amnesia between the time it happened and today, let me remind you. His name is George Floyd, okay? And this is not the first time a black man had cried, all right, that he couldn't breathe, all right, that a police officer continued to ignore the sign because he doesn't care about a black man that live. He cares about putting the black man in the dirt, all right? He cares about murdering a black man. It's as simple as that. I can't say this shit any differently than I said it already. Okay, so you are familiar with that. All right. So today's subject matters. There's a lot of conversations around this part. And this is the part today that I kind of want to talk about. First, I want to talk about good cop, bad cop versus a good human being. All right? Because there's this saying that the argument is always, and I always find the people that come up with these crazy argument, these are typically people that if something happened to a black person, they don't give two shit. They don't give two shit. These are people that are they're very patriotic. They're proud to be an American or proud to be whatever country they're from, and they are a part of. They feel like they're part of the government. They just that's just one way. They have this one dimensional way of thinking, and these type of human being always make this argument. They will forget, like for instance, I guarantee you, these are not the people who, when they heard that Floyd got murdered, and they got on their social media pages and made posts and say, we can't believe that we can't condone this. We cannot let this go on. We need to make a change. We need to come together as white people, as a collective body of people, and talk about the importance of changing the way that we treat immigrants in our country. These are not the kind of people that will ever come up with an argument like that, all right? But these are the same people that will ignore the murder, but then come to make an argument about a good cop. Oh, well, not all cops are bad. Not all cops are this, not all cops are that. Well, nobody said that all cops are bad. Which is why I want to make this argument here. What's a good cop? What is a bad cop? What makes a good human being? Forget your badge, forget all of that. What makes a good human being, okay? Because I have a personal experience with this, and that story you're going to hear right now. So, I'm in Windsor, and I know these body of people, and one of them's having a birthday party, and they booked it at this very extravagant hotel, nice, beautiful hotel, and we're all going to go there that night. That's for sure. But this body of people that I know also have their own pockets of friends that I've never met. Never met these guys, don't know them, never met them, okay? This is all like black people. So we'll go down to the hotel. Everybody's chilling. We're having a good time. Fast forward the story. We leave the hotel because the idea is to go to the bar, then probably come back to the hotel, right? So on the way to the bar, we run into these white guys, right? White young dudes. They're all going to the bar. They're having a good time. Now, one of the things that I should explain about Windsor is, and one of the cool things about Windsor is so close to Detroit. Like, it's literally, you can like sneeze or fart and Detroit people will smell it there. Like, it's so freaking close. So a lot of the time what happens is a lot of Americans pulls into Windsor for the weekend to party, gamble, go to the casino, whatever, which is great for the Windsor economy. Anyway, so as we are going, we meet up with these guys. Now, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know who said what to who. I really don't know. But at this point, the group of people, the body of people that I know, whom invited me to this party, I somewhat all the way in the back. Now I am sort of like with their body of people that didn't know that I have no idea who these guys are. But at the same time, we were all at the same party, so we got a little 2-3 minutes here to get to know each other. These guys have been drinking. These black guys, they've been drinking. Everybody's been drinking. I'm sure the white guys were drinking as well. But these black guys have been drinking. I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, a fight started, and they began to push these white guys around. This is a true story. They started to push these white guys around. And so me being the guy I am, I jumped in. Now, I'm a small fella, but I jump in. There's about 6 of them, 6 of these black guys, and they're pushing these white guys around. I said, look, fellas, look, we need to cut this out. Like, seriously, there's absolutely no point for this. I'm trying to stop it, but there's 6, 7 of them, all right? Ultimately, I didn't succeed because they basically overpowered me and they beat these guys, and really I wasn't really feeling like I was going to be throwing punches that night, okay? So that's what happened. Let's fast forward. We go to the bar after all of that, and everybody returned to the hotel. When we get back to the hotel, everyone goes in and everything's fine. I come in. As soon as I walk in the lobby, first people I see on the right side of me in the lobby are police officers, cops. There's about 4 cops, right? And then the 2 white guys that were there, that have been a part of that has been jumped, were also there as well because they were staying. This is what's funny about life. They were staying at the same hotel that these guys were throwing the parties at. Of all the people that took part in the fight, I'm not sure if those guys came back to the hotel later on. I have no idea. But they pulled me over. They called me to the side. And here's what the officer said to me. He said, look, we know that you were being diplomatic. I think they recognized me because I typically dress distinctively than most people that I'm with. All the time, so they were able to recognize me also too. I'm a small guy, so they picked me out somehow, even though I had nothing to do with, like, I was keeping peace and trying to keep peace. But the officers and the guys told them about me when they saw me in the lobby walking to go to the hotel. And they said, look, we know you weren't a part of it. These guys said that you were actually being more diplomatic. You did your best to stop it, whatever. You failed and whatever. And they kind of wanted to know the identity of the guys who did it. Long story short, I don't know the guys, so there was absolutely nothing to tell the officers, which is that I don't know. I only did my best to stop whatever I saw. You're probably sitting there asking yourself, like, why do you bring this up? Okay, cool. Let's go back to this idea of good cop, bad cop. Let me say this now. If you were a police officer, on the scene, at the murder scene, when this gentleman got murdered, when George Floyd was murdered, and you did absolutely nothing, you are not a good cop. I'm sorry. Keep the bullshit to yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. So all these people that are talking about speculating, oh yeah, well, there's good cop, there's bad cop, nobody cares about that. We are focusing on the people, on the police officers that were in uniform that day, that stood there blocking the camera and doing all kinds of stuff, kneeling him down, pinning this man down, and participating in his murder, in his demise. Those ain't good cop. Those guys are evil men that need to be arrested, thrown in jail, whatever. But they all need to face justice. There has to be justice here. When I was presented with similar situation, I could have been just as ignorant. I could have jumped in and helped these black guys beat up these white dudes. I could have done that. But that's what separates me from all of these guys, is that I put myself and I said, look, it's not going down. Don't do it. And the white guys, despite the fact that they got beat up, they recognize my effort. That's a good human being. So all of you in the closet, racist, supremacist folks, shut it up. Seriously, shut it up. These officers, there's been numerous and numerous killings. It's much in the same sense as the guy who filmed the death of Ahmaud Arbery in a truck. The one who blocked Ahmaud from getting away, but filmed it. Claimed he only released it because he cares so much about Ahmaud Arbery family, he wants them to get some justice. No. That is a guy who realizes that he fucked up. See, when it comes to a lot of white people, they have, especially when they live in the same community, they have this thing, they have this buddy system, you know. They all do the same thing, and at the end of the day, look, whatever happens, I swear, if you're on the other side, they lie to their fucking teeth. They deny everything that they know. Listen, I've experienced it, been there, done that, 1,000,000,000 times over, okay? So, we know, I know for a fact that he was a part of it. Just like none of these police officers that were on the scene of George Floyd murder, who did absolutely nothing, can claim that they are good cop. If you're a good person, you would do good things. If you're a good person and you stand there and do nothing, you are a bad person. You would be held responsible just as much as the person who did the crime. It's much like if I pick up somebody and he has a freaking suitcase full of crack cocaine, right? And he asks me to drop him off at, I don't know where, McDonald's, side of the road, ex-wife house, baby moms, who cares, right? And I get pulled over. I am responsible. I'm at the airport, a guy comes and leaves his baggage there and he disappears, right? I go to the check-in and they realizes there's illegal substance in his baggage. Who's responsible? I'm responsible for that. I go to jail for that. So, all of those cops are evil men. There is no if, no but. And all the other killings that have happened that involve innocent black people, an innocent minority that have been murdered, and people have stood around and watched, and witnesses, cops Do not tell me there are good cops. This video is getting a little too long, but I want to end it. I don't want to make it any longer than half an hour. So check this out. The last point that I want to make, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. We've all seen from civilian people that were on the scene, we all seen the video footage that were released for George Floyd. We all seen it. Here is what the white supremacy released for George Floyd. Here is what in their tune, they said this is what happened, and this is the video. I'm going to show you a short clip of it. If you want to watch the full video, make sure you go to 18th Avenue Podcast on Facebook to watch the full entire 15 minutes video. I'm not even cutting it up. I tell you no lie, I'm not cutting it up. I'm not doing anything with it. You can watch the full video. But I'm telling you right now, you are going to be so shocked. I guarantee you this video holds the same storyline as this white supremacy did when they went to Africa, then came back and they told the people all these bullshit lies that Africans were like animals and shit. They were barbaric. They need Jesus Christ. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, this is their version of it. This is my time. You've just now watched another episode of 18th Avenue Podcast. Just to recap very quickly here, be sure to subscribe to the channel, 18th Avenue Podcast on YouTube, 18th Avenue Podcast, IG page, and Facebook page is 18th Ave Cast on Facebook page. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this channel because we will be talking about all of these social injustice things that is going on and that is just everywhere at this point. And also be sure to check out Yoga Culture. I will be featuring a meditation coach, Kendra Copeland. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Very stimulating conversation. You do not want to miss it. Website coming soon. Thank you for watching 18th Avenue Podcast. We will see you on the next one. Thank you. Peace.